Go to work, go to work, go to work. Back learning again with you all. Thank you very much for tuning back in and learning with me. Again, this is the charter for the city of Compton, California, and we are on, making sure you can see here, we are on Article 8 that we are learning about. So I'm scrolling here until we get to Article 8. And once again, thank you very much for learning with me. It is one of these things where, you know, some people, they don't want to read all of this information. So this is another purpose of why I'm reading live. So it is part of the community work that I do. All right, so starting here, Article 8. There you go. The City Court, Sections 800, 801, 802, deleted from City Charter January 16, 1953. The latest one we were saying what was 1983. And if this is your first time tuning in, let me take you back there to this channel. Compton. I wasn't going to show that, but like I said, the fact that I was doing something else today, a whole lot of those of you that know, that's another reason why I'm just now getting here at 10:44 March 7th online. I want to say it's April 19, 1983. Absolutely, it's 1983 right there. See if you could see. Yes, I switched here. All right, going back here. We see that 30 years difference. That would be something to go look for that. Wow. Okay. So now it goes to Article 9, Board of Education, Section 900, deleted from City Charter April 21st, 2009. Article 10, Council Appointed Boards and Commissions, Section 1000. In general, there shall be the following enumerated boards and commissions, which shall have the powers and duties herein stated: the Planning Commission, the Personnel Board, and the Recreation and Parks Commission. In addition, the City Council may create by ordinance such advisory boards or commissions as in its judgment are required, and may grant to them such powers and duties as are consistent with the provisions of this charter. So we're looking at Planning Commission, Personnel Board. And again, if you're just now tuning in to learning with me about a charter of a city, in particular Compton, then you'll know that if this is your first time, I want to say that if you or somebody today, I'm going to say you want to create an organizational chart, this would be great. That was just some think aloud that I was doing. All right. So Section 1001, Appropriations. The City Council shall include in its annual budget sufficient appropriations of funds for the efficient and proper functioning of such boards and commissions. So the boards and commissions is what I'm going to finish writing down in my notes. Section 1002, Appointments, Terms. The members of each of such boards or commissions shall be appointed and shall be subject to removal by motion of the City Council adopted by at least 4 affirmative votes. The members thereof shall serve for a term of 4 years and until their respective successors are appointed and qualified. The members first appointed to such boards and commissions shall so classify themselves by lot that each succeeding July 1st, the term of one of their numbers shall expire. If the total number of members of a board or commission to be appointed exceeds 4, the classification by lot shall provide for the grouping of terms to such an extent as is necessary in order that the term of at least one member shall expire on each succeeding July 1st. Thereafter, any appointment to fill an unexpired term shall be for such unexpired period. That's how it's almost like a domino effect. Or a link. It just keeps going. Section 1003. Deleted from City Charter, April 21st, 2009. So again, if anybody else can share another version of the charter, it'd be pretty neat, because every time I type in looking for a charter for the city of Compton, I keep getting the same two, 1983 and the 2012. All right, section 1004. Every day is a new day for learning, and I don't know everything. I'm just saying, we're reading and learning this together, and I'm being brave. I'm reading to you all as if I'm talking to people right now. Go to work. Section 1004, meetings chairman. As soon as practicable, following the first day of July of every year, each of such boards and commissions shall organize by electing one of its members to serve as presiding officer at the pleasure of the board or commission. Each board or commission shall hold regular meetings as prescribed by ordinance of the city council, and such special meetings as it may require. All proceedings shall comply with state laws governing open and public meetings. The vote of a majority of the entire membership of such board or commission shall be necessary for it to take action. The city manager may appoint a secretary for each of such boards and commissions, who shall keep a record of its proceedings and transactions. Each board or commission may prescribe its own rules and regulations, which shall be consistent with this charter, and copies of which shall be kept on file in the office of the city clerk, where they shall be available for public inspection. It shall have the same power as the city council to compel the attendance of witnesses, to examine them under oath, and to compel the production of evidence before it. Section 1005. Compensation and vacancies. The compensation for members of the Planning Commission, the Personnel Board, and the Recreation and Parks Commission shall be established by ordinance of the City Council. Any vacancies in any board or commission from whatever cause arising shall be filled by appointment by the City Council. If a member of a board or commission absents himself from all regular meetings of such board or commission for a period of 60 days consecutively from and after the last regular meeting of such board or commission attended by such member, unless by permission of the city council expressed in its official minutes, or is convicted of a crime involving moral turpitude, or ceases to be a qualified elector of the city, his office shall become vacant and shall be so declared by the city council. Section 1006, oaths. Affirmations. Each member of any such board or commission and the secretary thereof shall have the power to administer oaths and affirmations in any investigation or proceeding pending before such board or commission. Section 1007, Planning Commission. There shall be a city planning commission consisting of 5 members to be appointed by the city council from the qualified electors of the city, none of whom shall hold any paid office or employment in the city government during their term of office on the planning commission. The number of members to comprise the commission may be changed by ordinance of the city council to not less than 5, nor more than 9 members. So again, that last sentence, the number of members to comprise the commission may be changed by ordinance of the city council to not less than 5, nor more than 9 members. And the key here also is sharing with us that none of whom shall hold any paid office or employment in the city government during their term of office on the planning commission. Section 1008, Planning Commission, powers and duties. The Planning Commission shall have power and be required to A, after a public hearing thereon, recommend to the city council on proposals for the adoption, amendment, or repeal of the city's general plan or any part thereof for the physical development of the city, and B, exercise such functions with respect to land subdivisions, planning, and zoning as may be prescribed by ordinance. Section 1009, Personnel Board. There shall be a personnel board consisting of 5 members to be appointed by the city council from the qualified electors of the city, none of whom shall hold any salaried city public office or city employment, nor while a member of the board or for a period of 1 year after he has ceased for any reason to be a member, be eligible for appointment to any salaried office or employment in the service of the city or to any elective office. Yeah. Make you wonder why. The board shall be appointed and serve in the same manner as other boards and commissions, except that personnel board members may be removed by motion of the city council adopted by at least 3 affirmative votes. Section 1010, Personnel Board, powers and duties. The Personnel Board shall have power and be required to A, after a public hearing thereon, recommend to the City Council the adoption, amendment, or repeal of civil service rules and regulations. We're going to go to the civil service regulations. That's what we need to do again today, or for the first time today, but I wrote that down yesterday. Like I said, I just wanted to make sure I got on here before the day was up, because I said I'll be back today. All right. B, hear appeals of any person in the classified. Let me reread this situation. This is section 1010, Personnel Board, powers and duties. The Personnel Board shall have power and be required to A, after a public hearing thereon, recommend to the City Council the adoption, amendment, or repeal of civil service rules and regulations. Here, this is section B, subsection B. Here, appeals of any person in the classified service relative to any suspension, demotion, or dismissal. C, hold hearings and make recommendation to the City Council on the adoption or revision of the position classification plan. Now, isn't that a fancy name too? Let me see. Position classification, or people that know me, I like to rhyme. So that stood out to me at the same time. That's how sometimes the mind works. It's called mind mapping and word associations and so much more. All right. Subsection D, make any investigation not inconsistent with this charter or state law which it may consider desirable concerning the administration of personnel in a municipal service, and report its findings to the City Council and City Manager. Section 1011, Recreation and Parks Commission. There shall be a Recreation and Parks Commission consisting of 5 members, which shall be appointed by the City Council from the qualified electors of the city, none of whom shall hold any paid office or employment in the city government. The number of members to comprise the commission may be changed by ordinance of the City Council to any number not less than 5. Section 1012, Recreation and Parks Commission, Powers and Duties. The Recreation and Parks Commission shall have power and be required to A, act in an advisory capacity to the City Council in all matters pertaining to public recreation, including parks, playgrounds, and entertainment. B, consider the annual budget of the Recreation and Parks Department during the process of its preparation and make recommendations with respect thereto to the city manager and the City Council. And C, assist in the planning of a recreation program for the inhabitants of the city, promote and stimulate public interest therein, and to that end, solicit to the fullest extent possible the cooperation of school authorities and other public and private agencies interested therein. Oh, I did say I wanted to look up civil service rules and regulations, and look at here, Article 9. I'm sorry, we on here, Article 11. Let me go over here. Look, I do not count. I was just, look, I was going in the video, so I was thinking about the fact that I need to do this because I know this is part of the homework from yesterday. I remember writing this down. Well, I'll put those notes away because I was working this other area with some other projects. All right, so look here, civil service rules and regulations as well. Interested in. All right. Go here. Again, this is fun. At the same time, those of you tuning in, no, I don't get paid for this. I'm not doing this to get paid or anything, but this is part of, I said I was going to be back on here and I want to read the charter. I told some people I want to read the charter. So this is a form of accountability and so forth. People say that word, throw that word around so much or what have you. And this is just an example. Look, I just recorded. I read this charter. Okay. What are the rules and regulation of civil service? I just want to read this. The rules. Oh, did it go there? Can you see what I'm looking at? Yes. Okay. Good job. So the rules and regulations of the civil service are called general order. The rules and regulations guiding the behavior and career of workers at both federal and state levels are written down in a book known as the General Order, GO. I'll talk about the MO, method of operations, and that's pretty neat. Look at that. If you reverse that, it says OG, Order General. We could check that out. How neat. Okay, so now moving forward, going back here to, not that one, the 2012, the most recent charter that I located when I typed in charter of the city of Compton. Okay, so going back here, Article 11, Civil Service, Section 1100, Merit Principle. Appointments and promotions in the classified service of the city shall be made according to merit and fitness to be ascertained wherever there is more than one qualified applicant by competitive examination. Merit and fitness being equal, seniority shall prevail. All promotions in the classified service where there are in such service personnel possessing the minimum qualifications to qualify for such promotion. Where is that at? Why we don't have a link embedded in this document for what would be constituted as the minimum qualifications to qualify for such promotion? Okay, we want to promote. Okay, so all promotions in the classified service where there are in such service personnel possessing the minimum qualifications to qualify for such promotion shall be limited to persons in the classified service, unless the Personnel Board finds and declares that, in its opinion, the best interests of the public service require such examination to be open and competitive and not restricted to persons in the classified service. All right. So I'm making connections to what I've learned or what I'm gleaning from different careers. When we talk about merit, when we talk about qualifications, and then we say, use the word minimum qualifications, and then we talk about is limited to a certain persons, as they say, instead of people, in this legalese. Okay. So you just think aloud as well. Existing system. The ordinance establishing a civil service system and the rules and regulations adopted thereunder in effect at the effective date of this charter are hereby repealed. All employees who have attained regular or probationary status or have been placed on eligible lists or who have been granted military or anybody who's been watching the shows I've been doing, I've been holding and so forth, you would have to know that I was talking about a young man who was in the military. Yes. So at any rate, I just did an interview with someone, and that's what I was making connections with about the military. I didn't know that this was what it was going to say. At any rate, here it goes. All employees, rereading here, who have attained regular or probationary status or have been placed on eligible lists or who have been granted military or other leaves of absence under the existing civil service system shall retain their respective rights subject to the provisions of this charter. And this is a charter of a city, okay? Section 1101. Classified service. The civil service of the city shall be divided into the unclassified and the classified service. And then I was also thinking about education field. You have certificated and you have classified. Okay, moving on. A, the unclassified service shall comprise the following officers and positions. 1, all elective officers. 2, city manager. 3, assistant city manager. So the assistant city manager, so that this is just an example of city manager and assistant city manager. What would be the, if you will, based on what the other information is about, the minimum qualifications? So I'm just saying, I'm just asking. It's a self question, but I'm just reading aloud and to think aloud at the same time. 4, 1 private secretary to the city manager. 5, all members of boards and commissions. Again, boards and commissions. It seemed like we need a job board. We said that, some people, we said that we need some kind of job board or something. In the military, they have a ombudsman, somebody that you can call that pretty much just like the centrifugal of, it could be of different capacities, but one for new people in the military that need assistance and they're able to be directed in different manners or for various purposes. And then you remember back in the day, they had they call them switchboard operators. Maybe they still have jobs like that, like they have, different places back in the day. All right. But that seems to be a need. Okay. Outside of that, or a question or something else I need to learn because I haven't heard about that in that city. right? Or who is that person? Where is that person's office? Okay, so let's see. Moving forward, number 6, positions in any class or grade created for a special or temporary purpose and which would exist for a period of not longer than 90 days. The Personnel Board, upon application of the appointing officer of board. That would be something else to do too. The appointments. Okay, so we do know that cities do have their job boards. They actually do because their websites. That's what it is. Nowadays, we use websites. Okay. The Personnel Board, upon application of the appointing officer of board, I love learning. And after public notice and hearing by the affirmative votes of 4 of the members, may exempt any position in any class or grade for a maximum period of 6 months in any calendar year. Any such exemption shall not affect the tenure of any person whose appointment has become final under civil service. So let me reread that. Number 6. You can scroll over if you don't want to hear. Positions in any class or grade created for a special or temporary purpose and which would exist for a period of not longer than 90 days. The Personnel Board, upon application of the appointing officer of board, and after public notice and hearing by the affirmative votes of 4 of the members, may exempt any position in any class or grade for a maximum period of 6 months in any calendar year. Any such exemption shall not affect the tenure of any person whose appointment has become final under civil service. Number 7, persons employed to render professional, scientific, technical, or expert service of an occasional and exceptional character. Crossing guards and part-time employees paid on an hourly or per diem basis. Again, going back here, it says the unclassified service shall comprise the following officers and positions. Okay, so 8 is crossing guards and 9 is part-time employees paid on an hourly or per diem basis. Who are these part-time employees? And then, or per diem basis. What are they? What's the job? What are they doing? Well, what's that about? Oh, are we gonna get to that? We may. Okay, that's. All right, section B. The classified service shall comprise all positions not specifically included by this section in the unclassified service. So I'm just writing a note. Number 9, I'm just saying part-time employees paid. Who are the part-time employees that's getting paid on an hourly basis, and or you can get paid by a student council and or you can choose to get paid per diem basis. All right, so section 1102, appointments from the classified to the unclassified service. In the event an officer or employee of the city holding a position in the classified service is appointed to a position in the unclassified service and should subsequently be removed or resigned therefrom within 6 months, he shall revert to his former position in the classified service without loss of any rights or privileges and upon the same terms and conditions as if he had remained in said position continuously. That might make it easier for all the benefits and everything like that. Unless charges are filed and he is discharged in the manner provided for in this charter and the rules established hereon under for positions in the classified service. All right, so section 1103. Classification. The city manager shall make periodic studies of the classification and grading of positions and shall submit to the personnel board any changes which he deems desirable to better classify positions according to similarity of authority, duties, and responsibilities. Right? Like, wouldn't that be interesting to find out what about these part-time employees? Okay. The Personnel Board shall hold a public hearing thereon at which officers and employees affected thereby and others interested and desiring to be heard shall be given an opportunity to do so. Upon approval by the Personnel Board, they shall be referred to the City Council for final consideration and adoption. Section 1104 says recruitment. Examinations of the applicants for positions in the classified service shall be practical and relate to those matters which fairly test the relative capacity of the applicants to discharge the duties of the position to which they seek to be appointed. No person may be an applicant who is not a legal resident of the United States. So I wonder, was this changed, this section 1104, compared to, I'm thinking about what year, the 1983 version. And since we have it open, let's go. Let's see. This is Article 11. Since it just seemed like it just stands out, it said, maybe next time I'll play some background music. Okay. This is, that's 12. Okay, we at 11, section 1104. Okay. Yes, indeed. All right. That was recruitment. No, it says the same thing. All right. No person may be an applicant who is not a citizen of the United States. So again, this recruitment, examination of applicants for positions in the classified service shall be practical. And, that's something else too. Shall be practical. Shall be practical. Okay. All right. Shall be practical and relate to those matters which fairly test the relative capacity. Relative capacity. Maybe this is another reason why people told me to read the charter. Because okay. You're reading this with me. I'm going to reread it. 1104. Recruitment. Examinations of applicants for positions in the classified service shall be practical and relate to those matters which fairly test the relative capacity of the applicants to discharge the duties of the position to which they seek to be appointed. No person may be an applicant who is not a citizen of the United States. Okay. Did you see that same tab I was showing? Yes, okay. Now I'm going to switch back here to the 2012 version. All right. Way to go. Section 1104.1, residency. Except for city elective officers, emergency personnel, and persons employed by the city of Compton shall reside within a reasonable distance of his or her place of employment with the city. One more time. Residency, except for city elective officers, emergency personnel, and persons employed by the city of Compton shall reside within a reasonable distance of his or her place of employment with the city. Section 1105, veterans. In all entrance examinations for positions in the classified service, veterans who served in the armed forces of the United States during time of war and prior to the cessation of hostilities, and who attain a passing grade, shall be allowed an additional preferential credit of 10% in the case of those veterans who have service-connected disabilities, and of 5% as to other veterans, which percentages are to be based upon a maximum grade for such examinations. All right, so classified service. I think I've seen that on the website, classified service. Okay. Well, section 1106, appointments. Again, this is under recruitment, and that's a subsection under civil service and the merit principle, which is defined as appointments and promotions in the classified service of the city shall be made according to merit and fitness to be ascertained wherever there is more than one qualified applicant by competitive examination. Merit and fitness being equal seniority shall prevail. Okay, so appointments and promotions. And we are now here. Appointments and promotions. Okay, this is in rereading is key and instrumental. Absolutely. All right, so going forward to section 1106, appointments. Upon the receipt of notice of a vacancy in the classified service, the clerk of the personnel board shall certify to the appointing power names of the 3 highest candidates on the eligible list for such position. No candidate may be certified more than 3 times for any one classified position. The personnel board, with the consent of the appointing power, may authorize the certification of less than 3 names for appointment in the event there remains less than 3 names on an eligible list, and in the opinion of the personnel board, conditions warrant such action. When no eligible lists are available, the personnel board, under such rules and regulations as it shall prescribe, may authorize the appointing power to make temporary appointments in the classified service in order to prevent the stoppage of public business and in order to meet extraordinary conditions, which appointments shall remain in force until regular appointments can be made, but in no case to exceed 90 days in any calendar year. If sufficient number of applicants go to work. Somebody said they've been watching for 45 minutes now. We'll pause and go to sleep and then come back and check this out at another time frame. Go to work. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. I'm in the Facebook group. Absolutely. So learning together. Appreciate you and sharing the show, everyone. All right. Just so you know, absolutely. If sufficient number of applicants for a position in the classified service is not received after advertising, therefore, has been completed in conformity with this charter and rules and regulations adopted hereunder, the personnel board may authorize an examination to proceed as to a lesser number of qualified applicants. All original appointments shall be for a probationary period of 1 year, during which the employee may be rejected at any time without right of appeal or hearing in any manner. All promotional appointments shall be for a probationary period of 6 months, during which time the employee may be rejected at any time without right of appeal or hearing in any manner. An employee rejected during the probationary period from a position to which he has been promoted shall be reinstated to the position from which he was promoted, unless charges are filed and he is discharged as provided in the charter and the rules. Section 1107, abolition of position, layoffs. Whenever it becomes necessary, in the opinion of the city council, to abolish a position or to reduce the number of employees in any, I was like, any given time, employees in a given class in the classified service, the city council may do so by stating in its proceedings its reasons therefor. Should such position or positions be renewed, or any position or positions involving substantially the same duties be created or filled within 1 year, the employee or employee's discharge shall be entitled to appointed thereto. All layoffs occasioned by the abolishment of a position or the reduction in number of employees in a given class shall be governed by seniority in service and shall be in the reverse order of employment. Reemployment shall be in the reverse order of the layoffs. Section 1108, suspension, demotion, and dismissal. The city council and the elective and appointed officers having appointive power are vested with the right to exercise the disciplinary and removal powers hereinafter provided. An employee serving a probationary period in any office, position, or employment shall be subject to removal therefrom without right of appeal, but subject to his right of reinstatement to the position in the classified service from which he was promoted or transferred, if any. An employee other than one serving a probationary period holding a position in the classified service shall be subject to suspension without pay for a period of not exceeding 30 days in any one calendar year, or to demotion or removal from his position for misconduct, incompetency, inefficiency, or for failure to observe the rules or regulations of the department, office, or agency, or to cooperate reasonably with his superiors or fellow employees, but subject to the right of the employee to appeal the personnel board in the manner set forth herein. Such employee shall be entitled to receive, upon request, at the office of the board or officer taking such action, not later than the second business day thereafter, a written statement in item form of the reasons therefor, a copy of which statement shall be furnished the personnel board to the personnel board. He shall have 10 days after the receipt of such statement within which to file an answer to such statement of charges should he desire to do so. The answer shall be filed in the office of the city clerk and with the clerk of the personnel board. Rereading. The answer shall be filed in the office of the city clerk and with the clerk of the personnel board. In his answer, or if no statement of charges has been made available to him as required, such employee may request a hearing by personnel board to review such suspension, demotion, or removal, which shall be called and held as provided for in the rules and regulations. Hearings may be conducted informally, and the rules of evidence need not apply. Again, hearings may be conducted informally, and the rules of evidence need not apply. The rules of evidence, let's write that down. The rules of evidence need not apply. Okay. Something different. Within 10, I'm just learning, remember. Within 10 days after concluding the hearing, the personnel board shall certify its findings and recommendations to the city manager. The suspension, demotion, or removal order by the city manager or other official from whose action the appeal was taken shall be sustained unless the said board shall by majority vote render its decision finding that the suspension, demotion, or removal was made without sufficient cause. If the board shall find that the person suspended, demoted, removed was so suspended, demoted, or removed without sufficient cause, said board in its order shall provide that said person shall be reinstated forthwith to the position from which he was suspended, demoted, or removed, and shall order paid to him the salary to which he would have been entitled had he not been suspended, demoted, or removed. In filing its decision, the board shall also make and file written findings of fact covering in general terms the issues involved. Again, that's why I was reading this other situation again. Hearings may be conducted informally and the rules of evidence need not apply. I'm rereading this one. Hold on. The answer shall be filed in the office of the city clerk and with the clerk of the personnel board. In his answer, or if no statement of charges has been made available to him as required, such employee may request a hearing by personnel board to review such suspension, demotion, or removal, which shall be called and held as provided for in the rules and regulations. And we back to the rules and regulations. And hearings may be conducted informally and the rules of evidence need not apply. Because absolutely. Because then, thinking is fun at different times. Absolutely. And you make connections, and we see that this is it can be subjective, and you can have your different perspectives, and of course people make their different connections and examples. So moving forward, it says here, in the absence of fraud or bad faith, the findings and decisions of the said board shall be final and conclusive. A reduction in pay shall be a demotion under this section unless it is a part of a plan to reduce salaries and wages in connection with a general economy or curtailment program. That's another phrase, huh? I've never written down before. Curtailment program. Wow. Okay. Learn something new every day. The city manager and any other officer or board in whom is vested by law the power to make transfers, promotions, demotions, reinstatements, layoffs, and to suspend or dismiss employees shall retain such power subject to the provisions of this charter and the rules established hereunder, it being the intent and spirit of this charter to provide a fair and just approach to municipal employment in order that city employees may be selected and promoted on a merit basis, but in no sense to impair the efficiency of the public service. Section 1109, political activities prohibited. No person holding a position in the classified service shall engage in any activity supporting or opposing the election of any public officer or any state or local ballot measure either during that employee's normal city working hours or at any city facility. Nothing. I don't want to say noting. Well, I'm making notes of all of that. Absolutely, I got you. Nothing in this section shall be construed to prevent any such person from being or becoming a member of a political club or organization, or from attending political meetings or engaging in political activity while at work as a city employee, or from enjoying entire freedom from all interference in casting his vote, or from seeking election or appointment to public office. No person in the classified service or seeking admission thereto shall be employed promoted, demoted, or discharged, or in any way favored or discriminated against because of political opinions or affiliation, or because of race, ethnicity, gender, national origin, or religious belief. No officer or employee of the city and no candidate for any city office shall directly or indirectly solicit any assessment, subscription, or contribution, whether voluntary or involuntary, for any political purpose whatever, from anyone on the eligible list or holding any position in the classified service. However, nothing in this section shall prohibit an officer, employee, or candidate from communicating through the mail, media, or by other means to a significant segment of the public, which may include persons in the classified service or on its eligible list for such an assessment, subscription, or contribution. You know, we about to reread that. No officer or employee of the city and no candidate for any city office shall directly or indirectly solicit any assessment, subscription, or contribution, whether voluntary or involuntary, for any political purpose whatever, from anyone on the eligible list or holding any position in the classified service. However, nothing in this section shall prohibit an officer, employee, or candidate from communicating through the mail, media, or by other means to a significant segment of the public, which may include persons in the classified service or on its eligible list for such an assessment, subscription, or contribution. Section 1110 says prohibitions. No person shall willfully or corruptly make any false statement, certificate, mark, rating, or report in regard to an application, test, certification, or appointment held or made under the personnel provisions of this charter, or in any manner commit or attempt any fraud preventing the impartial execution of such personnel provisions or rules and regulations made hereunder. Any person who by himself or with others willfully or corruptly violates any of the provisions of this article shall be guilty of a misdemeanor and shall, upon conviction thereof, be punished by a fine and or imprisonment not to exceed the maximum fine or term of imprisonment, or both, authorized by state law for the punishment of misdemeanor crimes. Any person convicted hereunder shall be ineligible for a period of 5 years for employment in the city service, and shall, if he be an officer or employee of the city, immediately forfeit his office or position. Wow, that's some serious stuff right there. I was just looking here. Yeah, we gonna pick. It's almost midnight here, but it's so interesting. It's almost, it's almost. It is interesting. I really am thinking like this would be good. I love to read and get more information. But yeah, I'm gonna say today, let's cease at this time and then resume tomorrow with Article 12. Look, it's almost 12 o'clock. Okay, so until next time, thank you so very much. Learning together. Oh, I did say I want to read that here. Oh, look at there. I know it's hip hop. Oh my goodness. See these chats in here that doesn't apply to what I'm teaching over here. Oh, here we have one comment. Okay, ombudsman for senior citizens and loved ones. We do need that. Absolutely. Go work. I am doing my homework. This is MC Harris from the Recovery, Wellness, and Relapse Show. All right, so that's nice. Thank you for sharing. Absolutely. Moving here to share this commercial. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a great, great day. Until next time, we definitely want to edify people doing great works. Appreciate you. Go to work.